name is Jasmine McDonald. Welcome to my YouTube channel. If you're new here, I post ballet and fitness related videos every single Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday. And if you're new here, you may as well subscribe because you're already here. Today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you 3 kind of funny horror stories in my ballet/dance career. I thought it would be kind of fun to share because I don't really do this kind of stuff on my channel. Let me know in the comments your ballet and dance horror stories. Mine aren't too bad, but they're still kind of funny to laugh at now. Now that I'm older, I can look back at them and laugh and have a giggle. I thought I'd share them. Maybe it'll help you guys feel a little bit less alone if you've had some crazy horror stories with ballet and dance. So without further ado, let's get started. If you have not seen my video on how I became a professional ballerina at a late age, I'll put that in the link up here in the little cards and also in the link in my description. But basically, I started out as a comp kid when I was younger until I was about 14. I went to ballet school and then had a professional ballet career. In the years that I was a comp kid, I had this really fun dance. The song, something kinda ooh, jumping on my tutu, something taught me what's a part. You know that song? So you know the song that I'm talking about. You're welcome. It's in your head for forever now. But it was a jazz dance to that song and I was wearing these exact shoes. So these jazz shoes with a little heel. If you know them, you know they hurt. They can do some damage. They're kind of worse than point shoes because they have a little heel at the bottom, but I was wearing these shoes for the dance. And after we did the turning section, there was this one part, did a grand battement, an attitude, and did that kind of scorpion kickback, if you know what I'm talking about. I'll try to put a picture here, or here, or here. But yeah, there was one of those little plie, releve, and kick your close to your head, and you kick your knee bent towards you. So I was on stage. It wasn't a dress rehearsal. It was on stage for a recital. And I did that kick. I did it so hard because I was just like amped up because I love this dance. I love this song. I was just excited. I love doing this dance. Again, I love jazz. I love ballet. They were like my 2 favorite things. So I was so excited and I had way too much energy in that back leg. And I grand battement so hard. I kicked myself in the nose, left a mark with these shoes, and it started bleeding on stage. Yeah. It started bleeding right on stage, like gushing blood, and it was during the performance. I don't think my parents noticed or knew, but this happened on stage during the actual performance, the actual recital, and I was just like, what the heck do I do? Do I run off stage? Do I keep dancing? So I kept dancing because there wasn't really that much left. I think I just did a kick and then I did a couple walks and did a couple jumps, but still, I was a trooper. I think I was like 12 years old or something. I just continued until the end of the dance with a little bloody nose, and we were in the last pose and it was something like this, really cute and sassy. And I just had blood dripping down my nose. So I ran off stage as soon as the lights went off. You usually hold the pose when the lights go off and you go all together and you go, and then you walk off stage. I just booked it off stage, went to the bathroom, and tried to clean up. Mind you, I had a lot of nosebleeds when I was a kid, so that probably was part of it. But yeah, that happened not 1, but 2 times. Another time that happened was when I was in grade 8 and we were doing a grade 8 play, and something similar. I did a pitch kick and I kicked so hard with my knee into my nose, it went sideways and it started bleeding on stage. And the next part of the dance, instead of being like a jump section where you can kind of control it, was actually a turning section. So I literally kicked my nose so hard, started bleeding, and then I had to do turns, and I was like, the stage was this close, like where you guys are right now. That's how close the audience was to the stage. Yeah, so can you imagine turning with a bloody nose? I was terrified I don't know, it would end really gross. Luckily, I tried to keep it all in until the end of the act, and I went straight into the bathroom and I wrote character, of course. The only bathroom that we had wasn't backstage because it was display in the auditorium, and I had to go into like the public bathroom where all the moms were. I'm like, oh, hi, I thought you were so-and-so from the play. Like, so funny. I was like, uh-huh. And then they realized my nose was bleeding. So that happened twice. That was definitely a horror story of mine that I had. Let me know in the comments down below if that's happened to you or something similar, because I don't want to feel alone and I hope you guys don't feel alone. Okay, story number 2 is kind of funny. So again, if you watched my How I Became a Ballerina story, then you'll know that I joined the National Ballet Company in Romania. And this one was really funny, this story, because I was with my partner and we were dancing Swan Lake. We've done Swan Lake so many times, so it's just in your body. You're just, you know, the music comes on, you know exactly what you're doing. We didn't even need to think about it. So we're getting on stage and we're doing the waltz part. So we were doing Act 1. There's about 10 couples on stage dancing all at the same time. So there's a lot going on in the first act if you haven't seen Swan Lake. So me and my partner are doing our thing. We're just like, yeah, you know, we know it, it's fine. We know it, no problem. We get to the center of the stage and we're the center couple and everybody's doing the lift, waltzing, whatever. Both of us, I have no idea what happened. The only thing that I can explain it as happening is that we had an out-of-body moment at the same time, both together, and we both totally blanked. sat in the middle of the stage. Neither of us knew what was next. We didn't know where we were. We didn't know what was happening. We just looked at each other. I think we both forgot. I know if he's watching this too, he's probably laughing about it, but we both just like paused. We had no idea what was going on. We just, right? For a good like 12 seconds, maybe like 6 seconds. We did that for a little bit, and then I kind of looked around and he kind of looked around, and then we carried on to the next part, but we missed a lift, I think, and we were right in the center. We completely blanked in the middle and just like stood there, didn't even keep turning. We just it's kind of funny too, because we asked our teacher after, oh my gosh, that was terrible, you didn't see? And he was like, no, I didn't see. So when in doubt, just keep going, keep a smile on your face. You know that story that your teachers always tell you. If you mess up, just keep going, doesn't matter, right? You gotta roll with punches kind of thing. That's what we did, and apparently nobody noticed. So last story time I'm gonna be sharing for today is kind of a warning tale because it is a horror story. And I tell this to everybody who travels alone because it was terrifying. So let's get into it. This story time I will call the hotel horror story. So as I'm a young girl traveling to Romania by myself, I booked some hotels online as I'm traveling across Europe. I went to Germany, I went to Romania, I went to like different places in Europe to audition, as most young dancers do. I was going alone, which always be vigilant of your surroundings, don't be out when it's super late, yada yada. If you have a friend, make sure you text them that you're home safe, blah blah blah, all that good stuff. I went alone to Romania. My flight was delayed. I got there pretty late, so it was getting dark. And the hotel I booked online through a website like bookings.ca, Hotel, Trivago, whatever it was. I forget which one it was, but I booked through one of those kind of websites, so it's pretty reputable. So I booked this hotel. So it looked really, really nice. It looked put together. It had a view. It had a little breakfast nook, like a little balcony, as a lot of European hotels do, and a lot of apartments do. So I was pretty excited. I got there, but I couldn't find it. So I had my cab driver drop me off there, and they dropped me off, and I said, okay, I'm going to this hotel. And they're like, I've never heard of it, but this is the address you gave me. And I'm like, okay, no problem, I'll find it. My 2 big suitcases, because I've been traveling around Europe for the last couple weeks. I'm walking around, it's getting dark, I don't see anybody. I'm walking up and down these streets like 3 or 4 times looking absolutely crazy. And this couple comes towards me. It's probably like 8 o'clock by now. I have no idea where I am. I asked them, have you heard of this hotel? And they said, no, we live just right there. We've never heard of it. And I go, okay, interesting. But they said, this is the address. This guy comes sauntering down and says, oh, are you looking for blah, 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 the hotel? I said, yes, I am. And he says, okay, it's just like through these doorways here upstairs. That would have been my sign number 1 not to go in. But I went in. I hope this story time warns you guys to be more careful. I went in, went upstairs through the elevator. It seemed all fine, but I was kind of like, okay, this doesn't look like a hotel. It's probably like an Airbnb. So we get there, and it's an apartment, and it has the name of 2 people on it. And I asked, oh, who are they? He's like, oh, I don't know. Excuse me? Why doesn't the hotel? If it's an Airbnb, no problem, but I'd rather be disclosed if it was an Airbnb. So I asked him, well, is this more of an Airbnb? He's like, no, it's a certified hotel. So we get in, he opens the door, and there's 2 bedrooms and 1 main room and a little tiny desk in the corner. And he says, okay, we only take cash. And I go, okay. So he shows me the 2 rooms and gives me a key. He says, I'll be right back. I have to leave for an hour and I'll be back around 11. So it was probably like 10 by that point. And I'll be back at 11. I'm like, oh my gosh, that's so weird, right? Usually if you're at a hotel, the desk person is there like all day. And mind you, this is an apartment. I knew this was an apartment. So that's when my spidey senses started going crazy. So I was like, okay, this is weird. So he leaves and I get my phone because I'm like, I am gonna call my mom just to be safe. So I call her and I'm looking around. And as I'm on the phone with my mom, I tell her that it's like this weird setup with an apartment. They only take cash and it doesn't have any signs or anything. And there's a name of some other people on the door. And she says, Jasmine, just pack your bags, get out, find another hotel. I'm like, well, mom, it's late. I don't know where to go. It just doesn't matter. Just go somewhere else. Call another hotel. So I'm on the phone with her and I'm frantically looking around the room. I noticed, first of all, that the key that he gave me doesn't even lock my bedroom, right? So I assume most people would just think, okay, this key locks it, no problem. But it didn't lock. So I was like, that's fishy. So I was frantically on the phone with my mom at the exact same time. time I was looking. I look under the drawers. There's a set of women's like sweats. You know the granny kind of outfit that's like very old, sweater, sweatpants, like a sweatsuit. I found that. It was light pink and purple with like embroidery on it. And guys, it had like a stain down the middle. Like someone had a huge nosebleed or something, and it was like brown all down the middle. And I was just like, okay, I'm gonna keep going. So I keep looking around frantically. This time my heart's beating and I'm on the phone with my mom, like trying not to worry her because she's across the world, right? Like, okay, mom, I'm gonna go. So I hang up the phone, I look at other hotels, I call this other hotel that was right next to the audition that I was going to be in. So I asked them, have you heard of this hotel? And they said, no. I was like, okay, it's in an apartment. I told them the whole story and they told me verbatim, you're in Eastern Europe, you're a young girl, be safe, we'll have a room set up for you, we'll give you a discount, just come here now, get a cab, just leave, it doesn't sound good. And I hung up the phone, grabbed my stuff, before I left, I just wanted to see the bed because it looked weird. So I lifted the bed and underneath there was a brown stain on the bed. Yeah, a huge, like this, like dark maroon, red, brown stain. I have no idea what it was. It was underneath the mattress. Like there was no bedding over top of the mattress and it was that flipped upside down. I just grabbed my stuff. I left. I called a cab. I went downstairs and the guy comes back and he's like, oh, where are you going? And at this point, I don't know what to say. The cab wasn't there at the moment and I go, my aunt died and she lives in the country. I have to go home now. I just made something up on the spot because I was like, I need to get out. So I have like tears streaming down. He's like, oh, are you sure you don't want to stay? Like, you can stay. And I said, no. The cab comes up. The cab comes out because he sees me crying to this man with my suitcases. And the cabbie comes out. He's like, miss, are you okay? And I said, yes, I'm okay, but I need to go now to the country. And I think he could tell I was like distressed. So he's like, okay, get in. And then I put my stuff in and we go and I tell him the whole thing. The cabbie's like, yeah, you gotta be careful. So moral of the story is absolutely be aware of your surroundings, act quickly. If you don't feel comfortable with the situation, don't go through with it. Call somebody as soon as you can, especially if you're traveling all alone, because you know you hear so many terrible stories. If you've seen the movie Taken, I just recently watched that on the plane, I think too, so I was like, oh my gosh, I just had that, you know, Liam Neeson saying in my mind, you're more important than anything else. So I had the audition the next day and I was freaking out because I was like, oh my gosh, I'm not gonna get any sleep. I got to the hotel, told them the whole thing. They gave me the room and it was clearly a hotel. Like in the last one, he didn't even have a certification for a hotel. You know, when you walk in, they say this hotel has like 4 stars, 5 stars, and is certified by blah, 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 blah. And that one had nothing. And I even asked for it when I got there. I'm like, do you have like a certification or anything? He's like, no, we're pretty new. You're actually our first client staying here. And my partner's not here, but so far nobody's been here. And I was like, but this has been open for a while. I felt icky there and I just left as soon as I could. I probably could have left sooner, but moral of the story, leave as soon as you can because you're way too important to risk anything. Even if it was nothing, maybe it was just an Airbnb and they were just confused if it was a hotel or Airbnb. They could have totally just been one of those or a starting hotel, whatever that is. But yeah, anyways, I hope you enjoy these stories and I hope that they kind of warned you a little bit as well as gave you a laugh. Sorry that last one ended on a kind of scary note. But anyways, thank you so much for watching. Let me know in the comments down below if you want to see something else similar. Have a great rest of your day. Stay safe and bye now.